And you're on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez.
On the punchline.
What a shitload to talk about today.
Do we have a lot to talk about?
Couple fights
here and there, right?
Tap into it. What's going on with you guys? Hop on. Let us know what's happening.
Well, I don't think it's going to be too busy today, the show, because I think it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have such a big show today.
All these fancy ass.
I
did breakfast. So? I got lucky this morning at IHOP.
I didn't do anything today.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I really didn't either, do I? slept today.
Yeah. I slept a lot today. No gym, nothing today going on. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of good, interesting stuff happened this week. Yesterday in boxing, which we'll jump on that.
Yep.
Jillian says, I like Nav, but Dogbo fight was sad. I don't understand why it was sad, Jillian. Everybody told you what was going to happen. Everybody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, besides a handful that wanted to be smart asses and still.
What's up, Darren? And you know what? We actually had a great fucking night of fighting that didn't cost much money, except my fucking ESPN didn't want to work that well. I had to stream it, to watch the fight last night.
Well, and I did that with Fox Sports. What you did with ESPN, I fucked up on Fox Sports with. I had to go back because it said, news, the local news was on. So I thought the fights were over. I didn't see it. And then finally I was like, wait a minute. And so you said Fox, and my buddy Kajemi sent me a text. He's like, it's on Fox. So I went on Fox. I just clicked on it anyways, and it was the
But didn't it have like a different name under what it was being shown as? Like it didn't show it for the fight.
Yeah, for the Fox was the news.
Yeah. But I've said it before.
What's up, Jake? What's up, Francesca? Happy Mother's Day.
I've said it before. On fighters, and I'm not just generalizing all these fighters, but for the most part, fighters from like Cuba, fighters from Africa, some of these other fighters from some of these other countries, they're not trained with backup plans. They're trained to be front runners. They dominate you, and if they can't, they don't have another plan. Where American fighters and Puerto Rican fighters, Mexican fighters, Eastern European fighters, now they have these built-in B, C, and D plans that they can utilize. But these fighters, either they dominate you or they don't. And it's shown with Cuban fighters, especially throughout the years now, that's what happens. And it showed more recently with these Cubans.
But last night, though, you had 2 months, 3 months of training for that fight to know what he did wrong in the last Dogbo.
Yeah.
What he did wrong in the last fight, too. But he didn't do anything at all. There was no work in training camp, obviously. Maybe they just expected, hey, you know what? It was an off night. He's a strong fighter. We're just going to send him in there and let him be strong again and see what happens. He got beat up, I think, worse in this fight, or every bit as bad as he did the first fight.
I think so. We were at the first fight. We saw that happen, and I couldn't believe what I was watching because I thought Dogbo was just a wrecking ball in that division. But even when he went to his corner, his father, who I don't believe had ever fought before, or even has really any experience training, didn't know what to say to him. And sometimes I think that's a hindrance on a fighter's having a father in your corner. As much as it can be a good thing, it tends to be a bad thing too. I mean, for every Papa Trinidad and Papa Cotto you have a bunch of guys that shouldn't be in there.
Mosley's dad.
Shane Mosley, Jack. Yeah. But you have a bunch of guys that shouldn't be coaching their sons.
No, and they live their dream through their son, or they push them. And eventually you see what happens at the end of that too. Porter's relationship has been really, really good.
Oh, Kenny's always been there for his son. Kenny's a good for his son. But the same with things with you. Your dad was not directly involved in your training, but he was involved with other aspects of your game, your nutrition, your management to a certain point. And your dad knew that there was other people that was better to teach you boxing.
And not to get involved with the business part of it either.
Yeah.
I mean, because he knew that he didn't know shit about, because everybody thinks they know everything about boxing.
Of course.
And everybody wants to be a part of it. And then, of course, money comes in. As my dad said, he goes, you know what? We picked, we have got to have faith in our choice.
Yeah.
We picked guys like Cameron Duncan and Top Rank and let them do what they do. This is their field.
Well, I think you were very blessed. And very, very blessed, and I think you were lucky to have the father you did have that put your needs before his own, but also didn't, and also made sure that you were taken care of. Because if it wasn't for him, you could have went a different way. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. I mean,
you'd be stumbling around the ring right now at heavyweight. You know what I mean?
Come on. Squeo, you planning anything in Chicago? I'd like to meet you to get a glove signed.
I would love to go to Chicago.
Yeah, not right now though, Squeo. Nothing's planned. So
I'll sign the glove if you want. I still not going to be easy. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Francesco says, does Baranchek beat Taylor? Talking of Cubans.
Did who?
Baranchek.
Oh, Baranchek
beat Taylor.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think Josh Taylor is an amazing fighter. Julian says he got beat up worse, and the guy was too big. Father in the corner. Kiki, you know what though? They both weighed in the same. They both weighed in at 122. You know, and people are saying, well, Dogbo was 118. No one said anything when he was running through other 122. He was running other 122 pounders. Now he's talking about going up to 26.
Yeah. So what is the size? I mean, that don't make any difference. Chris Hardy says, "All right, lads, I haven't shown my face around here since my prediction on the con fight." That's all right. Everybody has.
Hey, it's all right.
I called it a close. I thought it would have been a lot more competitive.
I did too. I thought
but
no, we didn't go that far. But I said they'd give him trouble.
I definitely thought it would have been somewhat closer.
Look, Anthony Santiago's watching.
Yep.
Big Vato's watching.
How about the Foz fight? I went back and watched that one too.
Dude, that was a bad decision, man.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm not just saying it because we know Fozzy, and I like Fozzy, but you know what?
That referee actually blew that fight for him big time. That was horrible.
But to be fair though, Kelly, Egis Klimas needs slapped in the fucking mouth. Why would you put your 5'4", 5'5" fighter in with a 6'4" guy?
Well, eventually he's probably going to have to fight him.
Nobody in the 146'4" other than him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But why? Fozzy's still a prospect. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was the best fight for him right now.
But I think a rematch, Fozzy will win.
Yeah.
Fozzy won that fight. I mean,
I think so too.
He really got robbed. I mean, I think that was, to me, I gave that kid, it was a 10-round fight.
3.
So it was 4.
I think I gave him 3 or 4 rounds in that fight.
I had him 3 rounds plus the 2, but the 2 out of 3 rounds that I gave him were obviously the point deductions.
Dan says, has fighters been calling Pavlik out a bunch, or James? Saw the Steve Cunningham post asking Kelly to fight. It's been a few of them, all right?
Yeah.
You've had Steve Cunningham come out and ask Kelly to fight him, and then you had what was the other kid's name? The one that got knocked out by Usyk. The one that got Usyk fucking knocked to the ropes. Remember who, from England, he called Kelly out, and there's been a couple.
But I mean, listen, here's the big thing on that. You got guys, I like Steve Cunningham, and I thought, were cool. And he didn't say anything bad. He was calling me out. He didn't say anything. Yeah. He wasn't talking like a lot of shit.
No.
But I'm not bragging, but I'm just telling the truth. When I came back and said I was thinking about making a comeback, it kind of hit pretty big. The buzz was going around, and people were talking about it after 6 years being off. And some people were hinting about a comeback, and they don't get any recognition unless they mention somebody like me. You know what I mean? So that's the way they get people talking.
Esteban said Bellew. That's right. Tony Bellew did. How you doing, Dylan? Yeah, Amy's watching, of course. Julius 8-inch reach advantage, which you did have. Robert says, happy Mother's Day to all mothers. Hey, fellas, nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Robert.
Thanks, Rob.
But, I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, but going back on the Foz fight, I mean, again, there was another fight that I thought he won. Obviously, it was a close fight. You got a 10-rounder, and you got to give him 4 rounds because of those 2 point deductions.
Yeah.
No, do you? No.
It was 2. Those are 2 points. It was so basically, he lost 2 points. And then who knows if he won the rounds?
That's 2 rounds.
He knows if he would have lost, if what the judges had on that scorecard, it could have been potentially 4 rounds, a 4-point card.
It's horrible what they did.
Just
what other fights were last night?
Dylan says, who should Tank fight next? I think Leo Santa Cruz would be where I'd want to go, or I think so. But now you have Gary Russell calling Abner. Have you seen that? Gary Russell calling fucking Tank out. Gary Russell's 126 pound and a small 126 pound. And I just saw a video literally before I got here today where he was calling him out and had one of those simp reporters. The simp reporters that act like they're unbiased, but he's really writing Gary Russell's nuts. Gary Russell needs to worry about just fighting, period, not fighting anybody. Gary Russell hasn't been in the ring for fucking how long, and he's calling a guy, and he's talking shit about a guy, and he's not just calling him out. He's talking shit about Tank's manhood and where Tank's from over in
Gary
Baltimore.
Russell could fight.
Yeah, but if you haven't fought, keep your mouth shut. Tank's still fighting, right? Gary Russell's not fighting.
When's Tank fight again, though?
Well, I think they're working on the Leo Santa Cruz fight right now.
Chris Hardy goes, thoughts on the WBC ordering Lomachenko Camel rather than Haney Camel. Fourth fight for Loma at 135 and 3 been for titles. Well, I don't think
Lomachenko's a super champion and he gets priority. That's how that works.
Yeah, but who else do you want him to fight? I mean, again, this is going back why I got to put him back in the pound for pound rankings. I mean, because these are his mandatories. He has to fight him. And personally, I think the most talented fighter out there right now is Lomachenko. But give it talent-wise, I'm not going to leave it at that. But he has not been fighting the competition. And again, not his fault. It's just who's out there, the weight that he's at. Yeah. Maybe he should. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have to move out of that weight class if he's going to want to get the recognition or the chance of moving up in a pound for pound. But these are the guys that are mandatories for him. And right now, I kind of move him out of my. He might be in the top 5 of my pound for pound.
Yeah. Julian said Russell said no Tank, no Cruz. You know, Russell don't fight. You know what I'd like to see? Why don't they put Jojo Diaz again and Russell Jr.? Why not try that fight again?
Why would they?
Because Jojo had 2 good outings since. Great fucking outings since. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Russell beat him.
Yeah, but why not make that fight again? It's not like Russell's in line to fight anybody, right?
Yeah. It's a dangerous fight to go and again after you already won, though. To beat the same guy.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a smart business move.
Darren said both Charlo and Hurd losing should be a lesson to promoters and fighters not to over marinate fights. That would be a big unification fight, 2 defeated fighters. We need Joshua Wilder this year. You know what? We'll see after this Wilder fight how big that opportunity is. I mean, or how big that fight's going to be. I'm one of those few guys that's never really been excited for Joshua Wilder. I just never have. Joshua's boring and Wilder's all over. I like Wilder, and I think Wilder.
I would like to see it though for the fact that it is 2 dominant, the 2 top heavyweights.
I would like to see Wilder and Dylan White. You know, something like that. I'd like to see that. I don't know. Sonny says, you guys are the 2 of the best boxing talk. Real talk knowledge. Great job. Thank you so much, Sonny. Thank you so much. And Sonny was a good fighter in his time. You know that? Mm-hmm. Sonny had a great amateur career himself, man. If you don't know Sonny, you're missing out.
Sonny from Bronx still?
No. He was all in that big Marquette type circuit. Remember that back in the day where them dudes all through the USOEC was going at it? He was his name was all over the Midwest, like Michigan. You always heard his name in Detroit, places like that. You know what I mean? You always seen him in the magazines, the amateur magazines. You guys are 2 of the Tank was ordered to fight Nunes. And you know that's up to Tank's people. I mean, he's gonna fight as mandatory instead. I know they were working on Leo for quite a while. But I wanted to bring something up. Did you hear the news? Did you hear? Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman's been made for July.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Dropped that shit 6 weeks ago, and everybody's like, no, they weren't gonna fucking fight. And then what they say, what was the other one? Crawford and Garcia. You remember at the fight in when Kelly was home, we went to in Madison Square Garden when they were talking about those top ranked guys were up there saying Crawford and Danny Garcia are gonna fight next during the Crawford and Khan fight. Well, I guess me and Damon were listening to them when they were saying that Crawford.
I was probably drunk.
Oh, you were pretty toasted, but hey, you're at your best when you're drunk. I like it, but yeah. And then I came back and I said, hey, you know what? We heard Danny Garcia and Crawford is going to be made. Like, no, they're from 2 rival organizations. They'll never make the fight. And fight. And what did we say? Porter and Spence, and that Lipinets took a sidestep for $150K. He sidestepped for $150K cash. I said, Joe Goosen told me that. And he goes like this, no, what is he doing?
Fuck, man. Julian, real quick. What a fun fight. Hurd seemed a little bit off. He's known to start slow, but he didn't seem to ever get totally started, in my opinion. But that's not an excuse. Williams was a better man that night. Yeah, okay. And that fight there, was a butt whooping, I think. And I like Hurd.
Frankie has a good question.
I really do like Hurd. I think it's cool. I think Williams won that fight fair and square. I mean, we kind of said though before too, though, Hurd, his big advantage at junior middleweight is his size and his conditioning. Well, unfortunately, he met a guy his size and in good shape. So,
Frankie says, "Does Danny get stopped by Bud?" I don't think so. I think Danny is strong, man, and Danny has a great fucking chin. I don't think I've ever seen Danny like on his back. So I don't think so. I think Crawford, in my opinion, I think Crawford will outbox him. But I don't see him knocking Danny Garcia. I think Danny's one of the more sturdier guys in the 147 division.
I see it. I think Crawford stands a good chance to stop him.
Do you really? Shit, stop the fucking presses. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
No, I do. I definitely think Crawford's size and his accuracy, and I think as the fight goes on, I think it's going to wear down Danny Garcia.
I got a good one here. Esteban. So who do you like in Pac and Thurman? I'm going to go Pacquiao. I'm going to go Pacquiao in that fight, and I like Keith Thurman. I just don't think Thurman's active enough, But then again, what Pacquiao are we going to get? Are we going to get 41-year-old Pac?
That's what I'm saying.
Or are we going to get?
It's so hard to pick that fight. It's you gotta keep going with Pacquiao, and especially since Thurman's been off so long, he's had one fight coming back,
and he didn't look great in that fight.
He didn't look that good. And personally, I don't think Thurman was a top welterweight, especially now that Crawford moved into 147. But I don't know, man. It's hard to go against Pacquiao. It really is.
Pete said Russell versus Tank, JoJo versus Farmer. Tank promoters suck. I couldn't agree with you more. But without them, there wouldn't be any fights. But I think a lot of people put so much on promoters. They're like, well, these promoters do this, these promoters are crooks. Let me tell you what, all fucking promoters are crooks. There is not one across the board that's not a crook. But the thing is with boxing and promoting is you need to go with the promoter who will take care of your best interests while still being a crook.
Yeah.
I mean, every promoter out there will sell their mother if they
it's the way it goes. I mean, but again, they're your boss. And like anything, you go to work for your boss, you don't get half the percentage of the business, right?
No. So, unless you have that kind of talent, you know what I mean?
Unless you're the one that's bringing in all the business.
Well, my brother does construction, and his boss gave him a percentage of the profits, like I don't know, 6% to keep him because he was going to go somewhere else. And I go, I'll give you 6 or 7%.
But yeah, people forget that when they keep talking about these promoters are making kids who
don't have shit
and probably ain't going to make nothing outside of boxing, and they're making them millionaires and getting them a couple $100,000. So I mean, I understand that box is brutal and it's a brutal business, but let me tap this one. Francesca goes, water cold white a coon. Is that racist or?
Two black people calling each other a coon. I don't know. It's probably not the best word to use, but
no, I don't think.
But I don't call it racist. That's like me calling another Mexican guy wetback. I mean, that don't make any sense. It makes me sound stupid.
It does.
But it's not racist, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. But how do they mean that as a coon? Like they're calling somebody like a sellout, right? Like an Uncle Tom? Is that what a coon is? I don't use that word. I don't use it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We're the wrong people to ask on that one.
But I think that's what it means. Is somebody who like if you see a black guy with a Trump hat, he's a coon. They call him a coon, or you know what I mean?
Or I thought it was Uncle Tom or something.
The same word. Yeah, it's a coon. Yeah. That's what Frankie said. Okay, stupid, but not Frankie's our black tiebreaker. He knows. Thank you, Frankie.
What did he say?
Yes, it means Uncle Tom. He said stupid, but not racist. I agree, Frankie. So the tie goes to runner. Frankie's like our race umpire.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that.
He's like he's out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Frankie's new job on the show is to explain shit to us that we don't know.
We appreciate that. Chris Hardy said Fury versus White been ordered by the WBC the last few days. Winner mandatory for Wilder.
No, Fury's fucking good, man. As much as I want to hate Tyson Fury for just everything that he stands for, he's fucking good. And I mean, that's all.
That was another one we called, and Julian says I don't like Danny Garcia. It might be mostly because of his dad, but I'm not a fan. How do you guys feel about him as a person, and what about his father?
I love Danny Garcia. I think he's a nice person by himself. Danny Garcia is not his. Danny Garcia is not his father, and and I think part of that is we were talking about earlier. Angel lives through his son, kind of, and he's the loud one. But Danny is. If you meet Danny, he'll take time. He takes time for everybody. He never turns an autograph down. I've seen him. We were in Barkley. I don't know. You didn't. I don't think you talked to him or anything. You were busy with your own interviews. But that dude signed every autograph. He took every picture. And what was nice is they had these kids, right? And he grabbed these kids and he put them first over these adults. I like him. I like Danny Garcia. I don't have no... His dad just loud and obnoxious. But just because your dad's a dick don't make you a dick. It just makes you the son of a dick. Oh, well, yeah. Julian said, I like the Garcia's old man. Oh, Big G is all class, man. Big G's classy. You know, I'm not saying that because we've known him so long and whatever. Big G he don't have anything to say, and when Big G has something to say, people tend to listen because he don't talk much. You know, if he says something, but you know what? You know what's funny? I will tell you something funny about that gym. You know more than anybody, Kelly. In the gym, you'll see everybody fucking around and joking and playing around in the gym, right? Laughing. Big G walks in, everybody shuts up and goes back to work. Everybody's like, bah, 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 on the bags when Big G walks in because they don't want no one to be fucking around when he walks in there. Everybody goes to work. But
yeah. Well, going back on that, Julian. I mean, I hear your point on that with Danny Garcia and his father. I kind of feel the same way. That sometimes I gotta like stop and go, you know what, Danny's not his father, you know, because I listen to Danny talk, and I think he's a really humble guy. I never met him personally, but I think Danny's a good fighter. I think he's a good guy from what I can pick up from the interviews. And his dad, you know what, that's how some people are, and I think his dad just got too much investment into the kid's career, and that's where we stand on that.
I want to know, the one thing I want to know about that, they have that little midget guy that goes with them in the ring, and he has that teeth, you know, he has that grill. I call him Dr. Teeth remember Dr. Teeth from the Muppets? He looks like Dr. Teeth. That's the only guy. Like, why the fuck he has Dr. Teeth with him?
Chris, thoughts on Waters saying he already has the next 3 fights mapped out and won't fight AJ next? Surely no chance of the unification anytime soon if that's the case.
That's just how it works, man.
Yes,
that's a lot of these PBC guys. They already have a pretty good idea what's going on for the next 3-4 fights. So many people hate on the PBC and they hate on Al Heyman. They really do. And you know, the PBC is supposed to have been failing for how many years now, and it hasn't. Like it or not, the PBC is here to stay. And I really think so. And I think, and what they lack in maybe some business sense, they make up, they pay their fighters well, and they treat them well. What else can you ask for? Julian says, I think Robert's attitude is entertaining at times. I think so. Robert says, I respect all fighters it takes to get in the ring. Frankie says, do you all still have the same confidence in Hurd's chances against Charlo? I think so. I think styles make fights, Frankie. I don't use that triangle theory. Do you, Kelly? Just because Hurd got beat by J-Rock, he can't beat Charlo? I
still think it would be a good fight.
I do.
I think it'd still be an interesting fight. My take that Hurd would beat Charlo right now. I'm not as confident, but I think it's a hell of a fight.
Yeah. KT said, did you see how Gary Russell went off on Gervonta? Yeah, we saw that, and I saw it, and I just commented on it about 10 minutes ago or so. Like I said, Gary Russell don't have any room to talk about Gervonta because Gary Russell don't even fight. I mean, he fights every year and a half. The last time he fought was Jojo Diaz last year, and like I said, he should not be talking about Gervonta's management team or anything because Gary Russell's management team sucks. I mean, whoever's managing him, honestly, is not pushing his career, you know, well. So, I don't know. I think he just wanted to hate. And he's a smaller guy. I mean, Tank's 130 pounds that could be fight at 35 easily. So, I don't know. I think he's just trying to get some clout. He's been a clout monster off of Tank's name.
Julian goes, Mr. Dominguez, would you do bare knuckle fighting for 50 grand?
Nope.
You wouldn't?
Absolutely not. Kelly, you look pissed the fuck off, Brad says.
Oh, I'm good. I'm tired.
He's tired. He had birthday parties. All right, Frankie. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
You would do it for 50 grand?
No. Depends who I'm fighting. But they're not giving $50,000 to get somebody you can beat. Do you know what I mean? Did you see those 2 guys that fought that?
You have to pay a trainer?
Yeah.
Fuck no. If I know I'm going to go get knocked out, it's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was thinking on my comeback. Everybody kept going, are you going back with Jack or Robert? Tim,
you know what, though? Did you see those 2 guys that fought each other bare knuckle, and it was like a war between them? They just destroyed each other. Do you see that? Those dudes have scars and fucking shit's they're all fucked up. Like, I don't know, man.
Walk in there, give them that nice opportunity for the easy one-hitter quitter.
Yeah, but if you don't fight, like if you do that, they can hold your purse and say that's conduct unbecoming a...
Just make sure you got a good contract. So as long as you show your ass up in that damn ring, you're...
That's true. I like Tevin a lot too. Anytime, Sonny. Thank you. Julian says Russell is so good, but he is just too inactive and watch who Russell's brothers fight. Oh, there's 8 of those motherfuckers. Yeah, and they're all named Gary, right? You're like.
Ricky goes, Hurd J-Rock should be fight of the year. I don't think it was that good of a fight. I mean, you could put it up there in top 10, but it was fight of the year.
It was good, but I don't know, fight of the year. But I'll tell you what, man, there's been some knockouts lately, haven't there? Some big, brutal knockouts.
Yeah. Francesco, I don't know what he's asking here, but he goes, James, tell us how Kelly destroys Froch. I'm
supposed to tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't say Kelly wasn't going to destroy Froch. No, I'm just joking.
James saying, get another fighter in there.
Froch is a good fighter. He was strong and he was durable, and he came to fight. He came to fight. I think Kelly's automatically the stronger man in that fight. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting here in reach of Kelly's fist. I'm telling you, Kelly's a bigger man, and Froch's output was about 45 to 60 punches per round, which is a decent output for middleweight. Yeah. But it wasn't 70 to 90 punches a round like Kelly had. And Kelly, the thing with Froch is Froch could hit you hard, but the farther, and if you guys look, the farther he went in rounds, the less knockouts he had. Yeah. He had hardly any knockouts after the 9th round. Kelly did some of his best work after the 7th or 8th round. So I'm going to go with Kelly. I think he's just too big, too strong, and too many skills for Froch.
We got another one for you.
Fuck.
Mr. Dominguez, would you do bare knuckle fighting for 80 grand against Chris Levin, 205?
Chris Levin?
Levin.
Yeah, I'd fight him. I'd fight for $80,000. But I would need a good camp. I'd go to camp with Kelly and Rod. Well, my team now because I'm fighting in September. No, boxing. I'm fighting Simon. Simon Rubikava. Yeah, what is that? Is he talking about Chris Leben? Leben? Yeah, Chris Leben. Yeah, Chris Leben has some fairly good hands.
What's up, Damon? For 80 grand, you would?
80, yeah. I've seen Chris Leben train.
Well, you're gonna have to pay whoever your trainers.
You're paying. You're doing for free.
Both your trainers.
You're getting. What'd you say?
Time is money.
Hey, you're getting a free ride. You're getting free flight. You're getting free food.
Hey, I already no. You got the wrong guy. I already seen all that shit.
Yeah, but that's what you always say to people. Like,
yeah, those are guys who never seen it.
And I got to pay.
And tax. So you're coming home with probably 30? 35?
25. What we
well, wait. 8. Okay, so you're at 72.
Look what we're leaving at the fucking buffet.
You're coming home probably about 40.
And look, no, 30, because we're going to spend $10,000 at the buffet.
Yeah.
And what am I spending on hospital bills?
Well, maybe the promoter will have that covered if you go.
Yeah, after. I don't see a way I could beat that motherfucker.
What's up, fellas? Damon, is Sugar Shane Mosley the greatest 135 pounder in history?
Who?
Sugar Shane Mosley.
The greatest.
Strong 135 in history.
It would either be him or Duran.
Strong argument.
Him or Duran. And you know, I know some of these older guys on here. You got your Julian and you got your Steve that are just old time
you're
lovers.
Still talking about though, you still have Floyd Mayweather who was aggressive at 135.
Yeah. Well, he didn't stay long though.
No.
He had 30 and then.
And you got Lomachenko.
Yes. And.
Who I think styles make fight. I think that he.
Oscar De La Hoya 35 was a fucking animal.
Yeah. I think Loma has a better chance at Sugar Shane than he does against Mayweather at 35.
KT said, Froch is a fucking hater, period. Good fighter, but I never liked him as a person. Pavic would have fucked him up for Prime. I agree, KT. KT's a good dude, man. He has a great little show. He has a great show going on.
Thanks, KT.
He knows his boxing, you know? But
Paulie Malignaggi dominate the bare knuckle fighting. What do you both have to say about this? I think you can go far in it. I mean, you guys got to remember, just because you're in bare knuckle now, too, Paulie's getting up there, and Paulie hasn't been active in boxing, so I don't know.
Paulie was a world champion, and I know people say, "Oh, well, Paulie can't knock anybody out." Well, Paulie don't knock out world-class guys, but Paulie will fuck up a normal dude. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen guys that are not.
Oh, definitely. But
knockout
again, his
artists.
age,
For his age, 36?
37, 38. And he's been around and he's been inactive. Some of these guys are still combat fighters. I think 3 years ago, by far, Paulie still probably could, though, because of the experience with the boxing.
Dylan said, do you think Canelo will move back to 54, 47? No, he couldn't make those weights anymore. He couldn't make 54. It was killing him to make 55. And so that's why I think there was some funny business going on with the clenbuterol and stuff like that, because I think he was having trouble with the 55, and he's a wide kid. He's a big kid. He's not the tallest, but he's fucking solid.
I'm going to tap into this one. Ricky says Chavez and Pusai. I'm not going to say the real spelling of it. Pusai Smollett says Floyd was a world beater at 35.
He was.
Yeah, he was. And that's the argument that I was kind of in yesterday. I wasn't saying Lomachenko beats Mayweather at 35, but I think that I could favor Lomachenko in that. Sorry, you guys want to argue with me. I don't care. It's not crazy to say that. But right now, Sugar Shane was a badass at 135. Granted, his competition level wasn't that high at 135, but he rolled through guys. Duran was good. Chavez. So personally, right now, I got to go with probably Floyd and Lomachenko.
I made the comment with Damon, who helps with the show, and he works on the show and stuff. So, but Damon just thinks that Floyd was unstoppable at 35, which I can get on board with that. I really can. But my thing is this: Floyd, throughout his career, always had trouble with guys that he can't time, guys that are a little bit off. Their timing's a little off. Do you know what I mean? And I think Lomachenko was that guy that had that off timing. That I'm not saying that he would beat Floyd. I'm saying he'd give Floyd a lot of fits, more problems than he's ever had before.
Well, I'm going off, when he brought up that, Salido-ish, Damon, and Damon's great. That's a great argument. Very valid points on both sides.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, he goes second fight or Salido-ish, and I said, yeah, second pro fight, 12 rounds. And then I go, Floyd Mayweather, Jose Luis Castillo, a couple 6-rounders, couple 8-rounders, couple 10-rounders, 20 pro fights into the career. People don't understand that, and I know it's hard to explain, but if you have not fought the pro fight nor climbed the rounds, how the rounds go, nobody really knows. So for the average fan on the outside of it going, well, that's not, he had these many amateur fights and this, it's two different roles. It truly is.
Yeah. It is.
Second pro fight for a world title, so quit using the Salido thing. And it was still a close fight. So that's a big argument on that. Yeah. Because there was guys in there to test Floyd. And again, you still got to throw names in there like the Sugar Shane Mosley, because he was a badass at 135. So was Duran. So was Chavez.
And Slavin's a new haircut. No, I haven't had a haircut yet. I just changed the way. I just combed it different today. Hey, how you doing, Slavin? Slavin says Burchell should fight Tank next. Why not? That'd be a good one. But the thing, you saw Burchell Vargas. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, that went the way we thought it. The way I thought it was gonna go. I mean, Vargas was they beat the shit out of him. Now, I don't know who would make that fight again. Why would they even want to make that fight again?
I don't think either was a top legit dude.
I don't think Burchell is that great himself. I think Tank would destroy Burchell.
I mean, by watching that fight last night, anybody could tell that they're not elite fighters.
Dylan says, do you think Castillo beat Mayweather? I did. I thought Castillo won that fight, the first fight.
Granted, listen, and Floyd may have had a hand injury in that fight.
I'm sure he did. He had him in a few fights.
And he came back, so I'm not taking that away from Floyd. I mean, but it did happen in the first fight. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it was a close fight, and it could have went to Castillo. But then Floyd showed you in a rematch what he did. So
the thing is, you only have one opportunity with Floyd. And people's found that. I mean, you see the same with Maidana. Maidana had a close fight. It could go either way.
Yeah.
But the second fight, there was no contest. And that's the thing. Floyd Mayweather was so smart. He would gather every bit of data, and he would change his whole plan for the next fight. Mm. And that was kind of the same thing we were talking about Dogbo. Dogbo doesn't have that ability to do that. That's something that Floyd could do. Not even half of what Floyd could do. And I don't know. But I just think Floyd was the best at making adjustments.
Pusai Smollett goes Kelly versus Charlo today. Come on, Kelly kills him easily.
Slavin said, why isn't Burchell elite? He beat some good fighters. Burchell's not elite because he gets hit too much. For me, an elite fighter, because he has a good chin, that does not make him elite.
Just look at the way he throws his punches.
Yeah, Burchell's not elite. He's fought some good guys, but he hasn't beat the elite of the division.
Somebody like a Tank or in Loma and
What do you
guys
think
like that would eat him
Loma
up.
would have skull fucked Burchell around that ring.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything. And before anybody says, look, they're gonna say James is racist. He only goes for Mexican fighters. I just said, fuck. But no, Burchell, he's good and he's sturdy. But he looks good against guys like Vargas. He's not going to look good against guys like Tank, and he's not going to look good against guys like even Santa Cruz or Gary Russell. He's not going to look good at fucking Lomachenko.
Yep. Damon goes, guys, when do you think we will see Tank Davis take over? Does Tank take over?
I think at 30 he already has.
Yeah, right now at 30, I think it's going to be, and he's kind of in the same situation as Loma. I think that he's going to have to make a move to another weight division if he's going to get the credit that he's going to want in the boxing world. Again, I think Lomachenko has no choice but to get big fights no matter where he has to go. And I think Tank is eventually going to have to make that move too. So if he has to go to 35 to fight Lomachenko, that's going to be something that he may have to do. But right now at 130, he's tearing it up.
Dylan says, I thought Hurd's punches looked sloppy. I did too. I'm going to have to agree with Dylan. I didn't think, but Hurd's thing's always been, it takes him a while to warm up. The problem is he warmed up too fucking late and J-Rock was all over his ass.
I don't think that was the problem. I think the problem was that when he does pick it up, that he had a big guy there that actually wore him down a little bit and was in good shape.
I was shocked.
Hurd was more tired than Williams.
I was shocked how good J-Rock looked because I've never been high on Julian Williams. I've seen him take, not look great, but on the inside, you just could outwork him. Is Hurd done at 54? And you know what, Slavin? That may be the case. I think all those weight cuts for Hurd might have been I'm not saying that's the reason, but I think it might have took a toll on him, all these weight cuts for Hurd. I think we might see better Hurd at 160, look a lot better.
Be more competitive right now. Ricky goes, Damon, he won't beat Lomachenko. I think he's referring to Tank. And Damon says, you don't think, Ricky? I don't think right now.
No.
If Tank Davis was a natural 135 or 140 type guy, then I could say that. But I think that Tank, going into that fight, I think Tank would need every advantage.
He probably needs to catch. The best way to beat him would catch Lomachenko 2 years from now. Then you kind of even your chances a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree, Slavin. He should go to 60. Darren says Tank is great, but he needs to be more active and fight better. That's, you know what, Darren? That's not on him. That's on the money team. That's on his promoter. Some fighters are in a position to get these big fights, and other fighters they fight who they're told to fight.
Maybe Floyd's being smart with him too.
Yeah,
maybe Floyd's
protecting him.
Maybe he's drawing out that fight with him and Lomachenko for Loma to get. He knows that Lomachenko is close to that where he's going to start losing some of the skill, and then that's when he's going to put Tank in there.
Exactly. I mean, Floyd hasn't been around this long and made that much money by being stupid.
Yeah.
It says, but yeah, a lot of people have this idea that these champions can fight whoever they want and whenever and it's not only a select few get that kind of, the select few, maybe the diamonds get that. Everyone else they're going to fight who the promoter and the manager puts in front of them. I mean, how long was it before you called your fights? Before you called a fight you wanted?
You still did. You had options.
Yeah, but
so you could call your fight, but you weren't picking.
How long did it take before you got your option? Before
sometimes
27 fights.
Yeah, and they're business people, so they're talking to you, and it makes sense on what fight they want you to have. But Damon goes, can J-Rock and Spence be made at 154? J-Rock gave an amazing in-fight clinic that could be interesting. I think it could be.
It could be, and I really think after this, I think we'll see probably Spence moving to 54. Spence is big too. I mean, he's not the biggest I've ever seen at welterweight, but he's big enough to want to move up, and he's strong enough to compete at 54 and 60. Yep. I believe so.
And I think the money's going to, there might be more money there.
I believe I honestly believe Spence can compete comfortably at 160 and 54. He's just so strong and so skilled. Yep. Guess Crawford is doing a live video. Everybody run to the Crawford video. Hey, I can't. I love Terrence Crawford, man. I don't know. He's my pound for pound number one.
And Francesca goes, did you guys hear the Tony Harrison Charlo press conference?
Yes. Yeah, it was great.
And I got, what's even better in that press conference was reading some of the people's posts and comments on it.
What were they saying, Kelly?
Man, Charlo's going to kill him this time. You can see that he really fucked up pissing off Charlo.
Slav, it's okay. You're not ruining anything. We can give a fuck less. We really don't care.
But
no, but it's funny.
I think it is.
It's like this horse race. I always wait for this next horse to come in. Oh, Charlo! Did you see Charlo? He didn't say anything during the press conference because he's pissed. No, he didn't say anything because he got his ass shut the fuck up.
You can see the double. You know what? It almost reminded me of that press conference, that Key and Peele one. When they were talking about, can you play that? No,
did you see that press conference from Key and Peele, the MMA press conference? Remember that in the car? With the insane dude was like,
can you play that?
And he's like,
can you play it?
You keep talking.
Yeah, he said, when your family's surrounded in your hospital bed, and he's like, this motherfucker knows that it's fake, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking, and he disappears under the table.
That was the Charlo press conference.
It was.
Did you hear the Tony Harrison? No, we got that. Ricky says Hurd will be slurring his words in a few years.
I hope not.
Ricky, you're setting me up to get picked on.
Yeah, I hope not. I like him.
Good motherfucker commenter like Kelly
said that about
like your
Hurd.
brother. No, Ricky's comment.
It's always been hard for me. Hurd's every bit of 6'1.5", I'm sure. You know him. You've met him. I've never met Jared.
He's got to be
6'1", 6'1.5".
I'm a tad over 6'1.5", and he's got to be 6'1.5", maybe if not taller.
And it boggled my mind when he said he was 195 and he was cutting to 54. Like, holy shit!
Hurd is a big guy. I just don't know how that would help him at middleweight, though. I mean, but if he has more energy and whatnot.
Frankie says, I'm with Kelly. I think he might drown with Bud. I think he's talking about the Danny Garcia thing. I don't know. I just see Danny's durable, and he's going to give you some rounds. And I don't know. I don't. I'm almost. I would put 100% sure Crawford wins. I'm about 20% sure on how. You know, because the thing with Crawford is you don't know what you're going to get with Crawford. Either he's going to hurt you, or he's going to punish you, or he's going to knock you out. You don't know because Crawford.
I think you're going to start seeing. I think with Crawford, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think with all the pound for pound shit going around and who should be number one, I think pretty soon you're going to see Crawford just really taking cats out. Yeah. You know, like picking them apart and dominating fights.
He started to do that. Slavin says, for you, Kelly, since you're both from Youngstown, are you friends with Ray Manzini, Kelly?
Yeah, we're cool. We are.
We see each other you see each other from time to time.
Yeah, I seen him at the Mikey Spence
fight.
We
did see him there.
Yeah. Damon says, Kelly, after Taylor Miranda, did you start losing motivation to keep fighting that hard? How much did fighting at that pace take from you, if anything was took? You know what, Damon, that's actually a really good question. And yeah, I did. And then I took the Lockett fight. And at that time, thank God there wasn't social media. But after the Lockett, you already start hearing people going, why would he take that fight? And that was after Zartucci, Miranda, and 2 Taylor fights back to back. I got shit for it. But it is. And then after the Lockett, I went straight into the Hopkins fight at light heavyweight. It does. I mean, dude, it's brutal on the body. And that's why I keep going with everybody keeps talking about the third fight with Canelo and Triple G. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's good for either one of the guys. I think it's actually worse for Canelo because he's younger and can reign a little longer. But yeah, because them fights take tolls on the body too. They really do.
John said, I've missed something, but are they talking about making Crawford Danny Garcia? Yes, John. That fight's actually in the works right now. They're in negotiations. I think it's going to happen around, I was hearing August or something. But yeah, it'll happen.
Thanks, bro.
I was really hoping Garcia fought at 40. Which Garcia, Mikey or Danny?
What weight?
It says I was really hoping Garcia fought at 40.
Probably Mikey.
If it's Mikey already moved to 40. He vacated his WBC belt, moved to 40. So yeah, he's 140, and I think he's fighting from what I hear, guys. He's fighting in December. I don't have an opponent, and even if I did, I can't tell you right now. But he's fighting in December. 140, Mikey is. So, well, stay tuned. But it's going to be a good fight. I can guarantee it's not going to be a mandatory. Mm-hmm. He's going to take a big one.
Who do you think he's going to take?
Who do I think?
Yeah. Throw names up. I'm not getting in trouble for it.
Oh, so you want me to get in trouble for it?
Damon goes, those...
It won't be Regis, I'll tell you that. But it could be one of the other champions at 140. How about that?
That will be a good fight.
It won't be Regis, but look at any of the other 2 champions at 40, then you'll have your answer.
Damon says those 3 fights were hard. Miranda, 2 Taylor fights. They were, Damon. Jake goes, Crawford not being the early starter may be a way of the past with this pound for pound list. That's exactly what I think, man. I think he's going to really start showing what he's got. I think he's going to go in there and start dominating more. He was going for the kill against Khan, so. And then Pusas Smollett says, when are you going to go back on the Joe Rogan experience? I don't know. I'll send him a text, so I do got his number.
He said for you to call him when you want to come back.
Hey, Joe, it's me.
Hey, Joe, you put me on that fucking show.
Get me back on there.
I just want to go back, sit in the green room with all those wild game meats. They had snake and elk and all kind of shit in there.
Ask me if you could have some of that.
What?
Ask me if you could have some of that.
Where are we going to eat in the car?
You could take it back and cook it somewhere.
It was already cooked.
Oh, what?
It was on this big plate,
Eat it in the car.
No, we were eating Korean barbecue by the pound, weren't we?
All right, here's 2 good ones. Emilio goes, was Miranda the hardest punch? Well, that's not a good one, but was he the hardest puncher he boxed, Kelly? You think his power came from his explosive muscles or his technique?
What did he say?
Did he think his power came from explosive muscle?
What fighter?
Miranda.
Oh, yeah.
He was not so much a leverage guy. He was just one of them brute strength, like strong middleweight guys. I mean, the way he was built, he was all thunder when he hit. He hurt, dude.
Your forearms, everything, huh?
Yeah. Damon says, James Dominguez, remember all the prolapsed assholes who argued when we announced Pack and Thurman and Crawford Garcia? What do you have to say to those constantly argue hard facts? He wants you to spill that again.
Me and Damon we were at the Khan Crawford fight, and we heard it. And like, okay, me and Damon said, watch. And Damon said, James, we're going to bring it up and people are going to argue with you. And they fucking sure did. They'll never fight. They're from 2 different organizations. I even had Miguel Salazar arguing today. I'm like, take your pictures, dude. Anyway, and the same happened with us, with Spence and Porter. I had brought that up like 6 weeks ago, or 8 weeks ago even, that fight was being made, what's the kid's name? The white kid. We were just talking about the one that Mikey knocked out. Lipinets sidestepped, took a step aside for $150,000 cash. He took a step because he's automatically number one. He was the number 1 challenger, and he sidestepped that for $150K so they could fight. And then I heard that from a respected world championship trainer that Joe Goosen. And I told, I'm not hiding because he didn't care I told, but Joe Goosen, because Lipinets is his fighter. So I brought it up and people argued with me and made jokes and talked stupid shit. The thing is this, that's why when we give information like that, it's fact-based. I don't get it secondhand. I don't get it third hand. I get it from the source exactly, or the trainer or the manager of that fighter. And even sometimes when the fighter gets information, it's not even accurate because the only one who truly knows what's going on is the promoter.
Exactly.
But we try to do the best we can. Exactly. That's all we can do.
Yep. Pussy Smaller goes, who's the hardest puncher he fought? Miranda. And he said, Sergio Martinez said you had hands of steel. That's cool, though.
I've heard Sergio say that. Sergio said that in person to me and Roger. He said that back molar went to pieces.
James may know this one. He goes, do you know why Maidana quit comeback?
Financial reasons. I did hear. What had happened when Maidana came back, Maidana was given $100,000 in his bank account for him to start training. So Maidana said he started training, then he needed $60,000. They give him 60. And then he needed $30,000, and then it was put in. Well, this has gone pretty far, and all they're doing is training. There's no fights being made. Yeah. And they quit giving him money, so he packed his shit, went back to Argentina. And that's pretty much what had happened. That's why.
Last one was $200,000. One guy asked if I would like to fight Joe Calzaghe. Yeah, would have that have been a good fight? I was down for to fight anybody, and the bigger the fights, the better it would have been. Damon says, Kelly James, should Harrison beat Charlo again? Where does that place J-Rock? He's a champ now.
J-Rock's a champion.
Yeah,
he's a champion.
He clarifies that he's definitely a champion.
He's a champion, but Damon, as well as I do, Damon, and we both do. Neither one of us subscribe to triangle theories. But just because Tony beat Hurd doesn't mean Hurd loses to Charlo, doesn't mean Charlo loses to Hurd. You know what I mean? Styles make fights, and that's something huge. But you get people right now, they're on this J-Rock. a lot of people are on this J-Rock fucking horse that he's a pound for pound guy.
Yeah, he lost 2 fights.
J-Rock lost, and he came
he had 3 losses, I believe.
And and I'm not making excuses because he had a great performance against Hurd. But what Hurd did he fight? Did he fight weight? Did he fight a guy that's having trouble making weight? Does he have trouble? The jury's out. Let him fight a Charlo. Let him fight somebody else in that division, and then let's see. Let him fight, But right now I heard Canelo and shit. J-Rock, slow down. You know what I mean? You just fought a good fight with Hurd. Now you want to go and jump in the skillet with Canelo Alvarez?
Yep. Hold on 1 second.
Amy said, nobody gives a better corner space than Joe Goose or dresses better. That's absolutely fact, Amy. No other trainer wears $1,000 shoes in the corner. I love Joe Goosen. Yeah, Julian, that is what happened. And, I don't know my honest financial situation. I've heard he still has money. I've heard that. But just some things haven't started adding up. Like when he was talking about the extra $500,000 that was stolen from him for those gloves. Remember that? And we all know what he made for that. But he was trying to say that $500,000 stolen now. Taking money but not producing really anything.
Well, I'm just going on getting real quick. Yeah, we don't know. There's been too many issues now that are kind of suspect. But going on Williams, draw with a kid 12-2, Francisco Santana.
He had 1 loss.
He had a no contest with Centeno.
He had a no contest. Isn't that when he hit Centeno after the bell or some shit?
And he lost to Jamal Charlo.
Yep. Well, that's not the bad losing Jamal.
No, but he got knocked out.
But look at
who
has he fought other than them guys? That's what I want to know.
He fought Ishii Smith.
Ishii, who's 90. Okay.
Yeah, 29-8. That was only 2 years ago, year and a half. And then Nathaniel.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know any fighter named Nathaniel.
So I mean, before we really start hopping on that train.
Yeah, he's not fought nobody on here. There's Centeno was decent. He was at Robert's gym, but Centeno has never been a world beater himself. I'm not shitting on J-Rock. I'm just saying the jury's out still.
Exactly.
The jury's still out with him.
I mean, great performance yesterday.
Hell yeah, great performance.
And now if he goes back in, beats Charlo or Hurd again.
Hey, I'm team J-Rock. Team J-Rock. Hey, Kelly, how honored were you to fight on HBO now that HBO's gone? Hamed Zaman wants to know.
Oh, it was awesome. I truly loved it. I love fighting on that network or that station. The guys were great. It was a hell of an experience. I feel bad with
Harold Letterman.
Harold Letterman.
Can you give any insight on your dealings with Harold Letterman? Somebody, Darren said, rest in peace, Harold. Do you have any information, like any meetings? I've never met Harold Letterman.
No, I've met with him a couple of times. He's an awesome guy. What you hear and how you seem to pursue him on the network or on commentating is how he is in real life. He was just a nice guy, truly a nice guy, and just came up to you, didn't give you the cold shoulder, didn't act like he was better than anybody. It was great for the sport. I mean, he did. People loved listening to him. It's true. If you agree with them or not, you listen to him. I thought he did better judging than most of the judges out there today, though.
Yeah. And, I've seen, it was sad because when he passed, I see a lot of people shit on him when he's passed. And I said, how fucked up of a human are you as a fan to shit on that man when he's dead? You know what I mean? Oh, his decision, his opinion sucked. His opinions might have sucked. Again, but he worked for the same job for 45 years.
What I said on Jason Bailey's thing is true, man. Social media anymore just gives people, it's a platform for them to go and act like assholes.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that everybody knows. Nobody knows these derelicts that are talking shit on social media.
Yeah.
And it really does. It goes, just ignorant. And people are smart enough to realize what they see on social media, and they don't take it into the real world.
No.
And
do you know how many people would be dead if they took that attitude from social media into the real world?
Bunch of ass kissing people, man.
Selecki's a decent. He's one dimensional. He's a one dimensional guy. So I'm not gonna. I don't know. But KT said, laugh my ass if I don't know any fighter named Nathaniel. I don't either. But yeah.
Francesca goes, Kelly, you will let Frosh know you will whip his ass. I may do that. There was a couple good ones. What are your thoughts on Loma versus Camel? 2 southpaws.
Joe Smith called you out, didn't he? Remember Joe Smith called you out? Joe Smith called Kelly out too.
I got Loma on that one. Joe Goose commentating is awesome.
You know what? I like Joe Goosens commentating because it's right from the mouth of experience. It's not a guy that went to journalism school, got out, and started doing the weather for 20 years, decided I'm going to do boxing. Nothing on what's his name from HBO?
What?
The commentator on HBO, the one that cries all the time. My mind just slipped.
Lampley?
Yeah, that's what Lampley did. He was like a sports guy on LA, on Los Angeles News for years and years, and just got into boxing. Dude, let me tell you what. How much of a mess would that motherfucker have been when he found out Harold Letterman died? If HBO was still on, he'd still be crying today. He'd be like this.
Ricky goes.
Yeah, dude, do you remember when he cried when Fernando Vargas got beat by Oscar? I'm like, oh my fucking God. I just love it. Look at his well-being. Like, calm down, Jim. Calm down,
right?
Jim.
That might be the reason too. Well, a lot of money.
I'm like, calm down, Jim.
Ricky goes, where was Mancini last night? Some of them guys get times off.
They get time off.
They switch, rotate.
Kelly, are you on Instagram or Twitter or any other social media platforms?
I'm on Instagram.
He's on Instagram.
And Twitter.
What is your Instagram handle, Kelly?
Pavlik.Kelly.
Pavlik.Kelly.
It's got the no bullying sign.
You know what, though? I like Lampley was a good color guy. I'm not shitting on Lampley, but he was a good color guy. And every time he sees you, he's such a nice guy.
Lampley was great. All them guys at HBO were great as a team. Joanne goes, Edison Miranda versus David Lemieux. Because of some reason, Lemieux has this man, to be fair, title around him, in my opinion. Miranda was a true man.
Miranda would hurt that guy. Miranda would hurt that kid.
Would've.
Miranda could still box. He wasn't just a face-first brawler like Lemieux. He could box.
Beat the shit out. I mean, Abraham was a world champ. He was legit.
Yeah, I think he nearly killed Abraham, didn't he?
What's his name? Allen. Allen was a good fighter.
Yeah, Allen. He was world champion. Yeah, Robert Allen?
Yeah, no, not Robert. No. The other one. But anyways, Allen was a good fighter, man. And obviously, Miranda boxed him.
Julian said he was a journalism major at North Carolina University. Yeah, MCU. Yeah, I know. And he did sports. He was a news anchor in Los Angeles for like KTLA or one of those channels for years and years. He was married to Bree Walker, so I remember that. She had like lobster hands. She was hot.
Damon goes, guys, I got a call from James Dominguez people for the Ruvalcaba fight camp.
Yeah, we're doing a 24/7 on that one.
Pussy Smaller goes, Kelly, what is your opinion on the state of boxing today? I think it's a great situation that boxing is in. I mean, we're here arguing fights because there's so many fights to be made at so many different weight classes. Yes, we still want to see. I mean, we're never going to be fully content or happy with the way it goes. But, you have so many good fights to be made. And, of course, we always want to see the top two guys. But I think boxing is doing good. It's going to get better, too, in the next couple of years. And then, you know what? You got to be prepared for it to get the black eye again, too, though, and plateau out. I mean, that happens.
We have ups and downs. It's like a bad relationship with a woman.
Yep.
Tell Kelly it was Alan Green. Absolutely, it was Alan Green. Yeah, yes, thank you. See, that's the thing, guys. A lot of us, me and Kelly are not, well, I'll speak for myself. I am not a boxing historian. I am not one of these guys that goes back 30, 40 years on fights and can remember all this shit. But
he wasn't relative to me where I had to pay attention when I was fighting.
A lot of what me and Kelly do well is we break down technique. We're technique guys. We'll break down technique, and Kelly's good about that and business stuff. So we do. There's other shows out there that are historians. That's not us. We're not even going to try. I can't tell you who the WBC champ in bantamweight champ in 1991 was.
I can't tell you who the bantamweight WBC champ is.
I couldn't tell you. That's not what I do. But I can tell you, after watching him, I can tell you what works for him and what don't. But Hamed has a good question for you, Kelly. Kelly, were you going to face Andre Ward in 2013? What happened, and why did you retire after that fight fell through?
Because there was no more big fights out there. That's actually a really good question. I was out in California. I was away from home. Usually when you up and leave for training and you go out of town, that's at the beginning of your career when you're trying to make millions and become a world champion. I've already made the money. I already had the belts in the trophy case. I fought 3 fights that weren't to my liking, but I went through them, and that was great being out there with Robert. And then, they came with the Andre Ward fight, and I was truly pumped about that. I couldn't wait, and then unfortunately Ward had that shoulder injury and put him out, and there was no fights out there.
How long did they say his recovery would be? Did they tell you?
Oh, his was like what, 2 years?
Yeah, I didn't know if they told you up front.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't going to be me in this fight back. Yeah. So there was no other meaningful fights out there. I was just done. I mean, I kind of actually started counting down. I started counting fights to retirement instead of big fights, and I was just like that. I mean, a lot of fighters are like that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that'll fight till they're 70.
When did you start doing that countdown? What fight was it when you started?
I started counting after the Taylor fight.
I thought you were
swear to God.
I started counting after Ross Thompson.
No. No, I did. Hold on.
Oh, see, Slavs, Orlando Canizales was IBF champ, then 1991. Oh, Orlando Canizales is our homie. I love that guy. Yeah. One of the greatest ever, wasn't he? He was Lomachenko before sick. Lomachenko was around.
Yeah, he was.
So Orlando comes on the show all the time. I love Orlando.
Joanne goes, Kelly, remember when the one boxer came out to the Ghostbuster theme song on his way to the ring against you, and then you beat the brakes off of him?
What was that? That was
that actually, you know who that was? That Scott Sigmund. And actually I became friends with Scott. I even went down to see him like 2 years after that. Yes, I did beat the brakes off of him though. Kelly, did you ever have Andre DeVrol on the radar?
He was too young.
Matter of fact, who was on your radar that people didn't know about? Nobody really, Damon. I mean, I was on my radar at the point, especially towards the end, was big money fights. The only thing on my radar was money signs with a bunch of zeros behind them. And
big fat yellow check from Top Rank?
Yeah, that's what I was.
They were yellow or green. The checks were like a greenish or yellow. They changed colors. I don't know. Julian says, I try to tell guys that you guys know how to box, not who fought, who, and when. And really, no one does a better show on that. Thank you, Julian. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what we got you for, Julian, to tell us these history things, because I don't know. Me and Kelly, when we talk about boxing, we don't talk about the history of the sport. We don't.
No.
I can go back to maybe my childhood and stuff. I can go back on some of them fights.
Late 80s.
But I can't go back to things. And maybe that's why I'm so biased on old fighters like, Duran, and because that wasn't my time.
Here's a great one. Okay. Jose Alejandrez. Kelly, would you have fought as cautious as Canelo did versus Jacobs if you had 3 belts on the line, or would you rather put a show like GG says? I don't know how else to fight, man. I was fucking head first, dude. When I was younger, I was an amateur. I was like an amateur early in my pro career. I moved that box, but I got molded so much and transformed into a banger. No, man, I would have been in there. I would have been eating leather, and I would have been trying to land and knock out Canelo. And yeah, there would have been 85 punches around thrown. I would have went after him.
Magriel Moreno says, I know I can't be the only guy that says Canelo shouldn't move up to 75. I agree. I don't think he should move up to 75 either. Do you? Canelo? You think Canelo should be going up to 75?
No, not at all. So. Listen, man, there's a cap. You bite off the old saying is true. You bite off more than you could chew. And that's going to happen. It could even happen at 68 against Benavidez.
Listen to this shit. Slavin says, I exchanged messages with Ross Thompson once, and he told me Vargas didn't hit that hard and that Oscar hit harder. If he didn't hit that hard, why was he on his back multiple times in that fight? Ross Thompson, he said he beat you in that fight, didn't he? Yeah. Ross Thompson also said that he dominated the fight against Kelly, and he threw 4 punches around. Yeah. So Ross Thompson says a lot of weird shit, and like I said, I was there at the Vargas Thompson fight, and he looked like he fucking hit pretty hard to me. And did Ross even fight Oscar? No,
I don't think
maybe in the amateurs, but I don't think so. I think Vargas hit hard enough for Ross Thompson. He even spit on him too, didn't he? After the fight was over,
yeah, he did.
He spit on him.
Mr. Wado got a good one. Taylor versus Pro Grace. If that's the final, who wins? Ooh.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. I'm so high on both of them. Really, guys, I have that a 50-50 fight, honestly. Yeah. That's a legit 50-50 fight for me.
And no, I'm not going to. Don't give me the shit. You got to pick one.
No.
If you're a true boxing historian, or if you know boxing, you got to pick one. Don't give me that. No, man. That's a fight right there that I would love to go into and watch and just be a fan and not worry about if my pick's going to be right or wrong. That is a 50-50 fight.
I will say this: Prograis is the only guy that gives you nightmares when he comes out when he comes to the ring. He wears that voodoo shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
All right, let's get this last question.
Let's get it in.
From Damon. Kelly James, how did you feel about J-Rock telling the boxing world to stop writing fighters off that take losses? About how depressed he got, the fans wrote him off.
He's absolutely right.
He is right, but at the same time, when you go to make picks, you got to go off who the person lost to. I mean, because anybody can come off in one night and become world champion again and upset somebody. Yeah. So no, don't write it off. And then as a fighter, you shouldn't put that in your head that you ain't going to win.
Julian says nothing wrong with, hey, I don't know exactly, Julian, because sometimes I don't know, man. But Joey has a good one before we go. Billy Joe Saunders is more of a problem for Canelo than Andrade. Andrade is a little too sloppy for me. I disagree. Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter, and he's very good defensively, but he's still defensively irresponsible.
He still hasn't proven himself against.
Yeah, he hasn't proven himself. Yeah. Also, their defense, and maybe Kelly can tell you guys more. He's more of an expert on this stuff too. But defense is a two-part thing. Real defense. Defense is not just making you slip punches. That's one half of it. The real part of the defense is being in position to counter effectively, making your opponent miss, countering effectively. And that's something that Billy Joe Saunders doesn't do. Every time he makes you miss, he's out of position to counter you. Guys like James Toney was a two-part defensive specialist. Paul Spadafora even was in position. He wasn't the biggest puncher, but he made you miss and made you pay.
You make them miss, you make them pay. That's why you work on the half steps and the angles. And
Lomachenko is a two-part specialist. Mm-hmm. I mean, those are guys like that.
All right, I got to get one more in now. Mr. Pavlik. 2007, after Floyd beat Oscar at light middleweight, what if he came to middleweight for your titles? What do you and Mr. Dominguez think would have went down? I think Mayweather was way too small. That would even have been a matter of coming from welterweight. Don't bring up the Sergio Martinez. Two different type of guys. Martinez was naturally bigger than Floyd.
He was 54. Yeah.
Yeah. Floyd came up from a very lightweight, 130.
30.
Yeah, 130.
He turned pro at 28.
So, I mean, and at that time, too, right around the time that I won, that's where Floyd stopped being aggressive and coming to fight and laid on the ropes and made you miss, just like he did against De La Hoya. Believe me, there's a difference between me hitting him like that while he's on the ropes and Oscar De La Hoya hitting him like that while he's on the ropes. Big difference. So, size, if I was a natural 154, I'd have to be honest with you, Floyd probably beat me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But being that I was a big 160, there's a big difference in that, especially with Floyd Mayweather style.
Lewis says, such a good boxing show. Always enjoy it. Thank you, Luis. And Luis also said, Macho Camacho, great defensive fighter. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Great defensive fighter. And he was one of those guys that would make you pay. If he hit you, if you missed, he was going to come back with something. The only way that Camacho ever got beat is when he was out muscled by somebody.
He was like Lomachenko, too.
At that time,
Camacho really frustrated you and got you out of your game plan from being frustrated.
His hands were faster than Lomachenko's in his prime. I think Camacho's hands were one of the fastest ever in the sport. But the problem with Camacho could get muscled, and he got frustrated when he was muscled. Chavez muscled him. He even muscled, but even Greg Haugen muscled him. But that's how you beat Camacho. You push him back.
Yep. All right, guys.
Before you go, who do you think hits harder, Kovalev or Golovkin?
Kovalev. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week.
Oh, can I plug something before we go? Plug?
Your butt?
My new show.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I got a new podcast. It's going to be called Take a Seat with James Dominguez and Brian Wan. It's going to be the days we don't know yet, but we already have a Facebook page. Like it and subscribe to that, but also more importantly, subscribe, like, and share to the Punchline. And what is the what else do we have to do?
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell, and we will see you Tuesday, right? Sunday.
7:00.
But keep the eye open on that. Take a seat. So awesome, guys. You have anything to say, Kelly?
Nope, we good.
Great show, guys. Thank you.